Hi everyone, it's Damien for another video. So the last video was about I was introducing my new my new project, and I set up the project, and now I'm going to show you how to basically create a model. So so here we go. So a model is like, how to say that, a model is like for example, when you're creating an app, I know some of you will not be beginner, but just to explain it, a model is like something that will be backed up by a database. So I mean, it's not all the time, but like, let's say most of the time. So a model is like, let's say that in that case, like in this app, we said that we were about to create a collaborative actions tool, right? So the tools is gonna be about actions. So an action is actually, or could potentially be, a model. And basically it's a model, it's basically an object or something that will represent the data that your project is going to deal with. Like if you were, for example, let's say, if I take an example, a more recent example, let's talk about Instagram, for example. um, on Instagram, you have users, you have pictures, you have videos, you have comment, you have what else? I mean, likes and stuff like that. So all of that could potentially be models. I think they are actually in the app, in the Instagram app. But just to give you a bit of knowledge about it, a model is just stuff that are related to the application you are dealing with, you are building, you are creating. So in our case, in that cat application, I like the name. Um, the first model I'm going to create will be an action, right? Because an action is actually what it will be, the main sort of object, the main thing related to that app. So I think, if I remember well, the way to create an action is Rails. No, it's actually, yeah, it's Rails generate, or you can put G. Actually, you can just put it like that. It's a shortcut like server S. So Rails generate. I'm just going to put it entirely. Generate model action. And an action will have, so when we create a model, you have to specify what will be the attributes of the model. Like if I get back to the Instagram app, I said earlier that there were users, right? So users as a name, as a last name, first name, age, whatever. So all of that is related to that user. So this is called the attribute for the model, or the field for the model. So our action will have a content, which will be sort of a description of what is the action, what it is exactly. So, and this gonna be a string. A string is again, it's a data type. Like we said that. So basically, an action. I mean, if you took the whole app, an action will be a model, but it's still data, right? But if we're talking about a specific model, so the action in that case, the action will have data in it, which will be the attributes we mentioned, so content and everything. And then you can have type of data. You can have numbers, you can have a string, which is um, a string of characters, basically. Like, yeah, this is one character, and this is many characters. So that's why it is called string, because you have many characters. So our action will have content. I don't know if I call it content or if I call it uh, content of the action, description of the action. Um, let's put, yeah, let's say content. I don't know, description, action, content. Well, it will have a content. It will have let's say a boolean to say whether it has been done or not. So let's call it completed, maybe boolean. This is another data type, and we will also put maybe a tag. Yeah, I think a tag can be good as well. Like, what is it related to? Or a label. A label can be actually, yeah, a label, tag or a label, a label. A label tag or label or. Because I'm thinking about GitHub. On GitHub, you have, for example, if I took any project, you go into that, for example, into that project, you have issues, right? So which is stuff that must be fixed. And here issues you can issues have different label. So it's labeled as a bug, is labeled as a deep default documentation feature, good for, I mean, you have different type of label. So that's what basically I want to do, but whether I call it tag or label will be, I guess, a tag, because I want to be able to sort of put together or have a place in the app where you can basically search for a particular label, so that so that you can see everything related to that label. A tag or label, it's actually the same. I mean, I don't know. Let's put let's put let's put a tag. Let's put a tag. Label is like, yeah, let's put a tag. I don't know actually, but this is gonna be a text. This is a different type of of data type, which is not um, which is a cousin of string, because string is like longer, text is like shorter actually. Tag or label. What is a label of the action? What is, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, let's put it that way. Label. So it will create everything, and I think, oh, I shouldn't have done that like that. Ooh. Ooh, what is erase? What? Maybe I shouldn't have. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Maybe it's that. The issue is actually that. But I think I shouldn't have done it that way, because now I will have to do Pretty, yeah, I will do it that way because I wanted to scaffold it. But if I scaffold it, you will not see how to build, I mean, stack layer by layer the application, because you have a feature into that framework where you basically scaffold everything. So for example, if I would have replaced a model with a scaffold, it would have created what is a controller, what is it would have created a controller, a views and everything. Um, but about I'm thinking about maybe I should have scaffolded it actually, because at least you will see how fast you can create stuff in Rails, and then if I have to add other things, I will create it manually. I think I'll do that. I'll scaffold it. So one of the things, when you created something, you can actually remove it as well, and it's called destroy, and there is also a shortcut for it. So as you probably guessed, the shortcut for it is D. So I can do that and it will remove everything. You see? So now it's because I don't really remember the command. I think it's Rails scaffold something, but I just want to make sure I write it right. Oh, okay. So let's skip that. So Rails scaffold. Let's see. Scaffold generate. Okay, generate controller. I just want. Oh, here we go. So yeah, I can do that scaffold, and you can see that it will create the test, it will create the controller, the route, everything. But I'm going to do that, and I'm going to explain later with at least my understanding or my knowledge as far as now. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to redo the command and just add scaffold. And I don't think I need model, yeah, because I'm not actually creating a specific, model. I'm actually creating everything for that. So here we go. So you will see the difference. When I did the generate model, it just created the model and the test, as you can see here. Oh, what's that? Don't know to bit scaffold. What do you mean you don't know to bit scaffold? It's actually here. Rail. Oh, Rails. Oh, that's right. I forgot to put generate actually. I think there is a raising here. That's why you're probably hearing a lot of noise. So generate. Here we go. So you will see that it will create. Oh, that's weird. The name action controller is already used or reserved. Oh, right. Right, right, right. Ah, please choose. Okay, so because. Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be an issue. I mean, sort of an issue, but. Okay, I'm going to. Alright. I'm just going to call it task. Maybe. It's not really a task, it's. yeah. What can be just looking for a synonym for task or action or I mean it's actually a task, but I just want to look quick on my phone. Okay, so activity. Oh, it can be activity, it can be trick process, tree realization, app effect, yes. Okay, if I check for task synonym. Sorry guys, just going to take that out quickly. So I've got run operation. It's not really an operation, it's like, let's call it a task, just to make things simple. Okay, so, okay, so I know I want to, so you can see that I can use a D to remove everything. And, okay, let's go. Okay, so it has removed everything. Oops. The name action is already in use or reserve. Okay, so it actually yeah, I mean, hopefully it didn't remove everything. I mean, things I didn't want to remove, but active record, app, blah blah blah, app controller, action controller. Because it looks like it created it. And you know what? Let's relaunch it again so that I will check. So if you go into app, so there is no. Okay, got you. So I'm going to call it task, but I'm gonna refer as an action. I'm sure there's another, like, sorry, I'm losing time, guys, but task synonym. What action synonym? Come on. Load assignment, burden, business duty, calling function, labor. It's not. Activity, data, movement, operation, reaction, response. It's not really that, but it's not really an activity. Well, let's call it task. Like I said, what is that? Like right G task. No, where's G? Okay. Okay, so you can see that everything has been created. There is a controller. I'm going to explain what is that. The model has been created. Views related to that model has been created, and everything. So the route as well has been created, and the database also. So just to give you a quick overview, I mean, Rails is what is called an MVC framework. So model model MVP, no MVC, sorry, model controller, uh, no, sorry, model views controller framework. So, which means you will have, like you said, a model. You will have models. You will have views. You will have controllers. So basically, when you're building a web app, you have this. So you are on the browser, right? This is a web application basically. So when you click on whatever, a button or something, when you do that, the browser is actually making a request to something called a controller, which is actually the sort of orchestrator of everything. And for example, let's say when I'm doing a research here, when I'm looking for a synonym, um, so I'm gonna hit the search button. So the controller, let's say that there is a controller. Let's imagine that there is a controller called search controller. Is gonna the browser is gonna hit this controller, the search controller, and look into the database, which is basically the models, where there all the words, I mean all the synonym are actually, I mean what are the synonyms for this specific word action, and is going to then show you the result. So the fact that the browser is actually making a request to the controller, this is the controller part. That's why I'm saying it's an orchestrator, because it's saying, okay, I'm gonna look into that specific controller, and the controller is actually going to the database, so the models, looking for probably a table called synonym, where you will find all the synonym related to that specific word, which is action. And then once he has the data, the controller is saying, okay, I have the data. Now you can show it to the user. And when we're talking about showing data to the user, we're actually talking about views, which is actually what you are seeing, the web page. So this is just an overview of what a controller is, a view is, and a model is. So that's why Rails is called MVC framework, model views controller framework. Okay, so now what I wanna do. I wanna show you actually uh, how fast, because here let's I talked a lot to explain things, but you can see that with simple actions or simple commands, I should say, you can actually have a app running and actually making stuff for you. So again, this was done using the scaffolding feature of the framework, and this is really really great. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to run the server, and you'll see that it's actually very very useful to be able to scaffold your apps. So now it's working. If I refresh, I forgot to mention about the route. Oh, oh, okay, okay. Yeah, and there is something also I forgot to mention. So once you create the model, you see the error here. Migration is running. Migration are pending. That means you have to basically say to the database, okay, I'm gonna have a model, because it created a model for you. I'm gonna have a model called task, and you have to migrate the schema of the database, sort of, to say, okay, this is how my database is going to be structured. I think it was rate db migrate. So I'm going into a lot of things here. Oh, you must use bundle 2 or greater. What do you mean? Isn't it rake db migrate? Rake db migrate. So what do you mean? You must use blah blah blah. And just okay, I have done that. Right. Is there somewhere where it's talking about automatic? Oh, here we go. So why isn't it working? So, I mean, it's weird. So this is how I ended up creating a lot of tabs. Oh, so what is that? Jim, update Ruby gems. Okay, it's probably not updated. I'm just going to update the systems, I mean the gem systems, just to make sure that I can use the latest version and everything. Sorry guys, I may probably run out of time because it's actually 3 minutes. But hopefully I'm going to have time to show you everything I want to show you. So and that the video won't be too long. Come on man, come on, go fast. And the thing is, yeah, because when you're doing those sort of how-to video, you have to explain stuff because some people are new. And I mean, I'm trying to not give too much information at the same time because I know it can be a lot of to take in, but yeah, and this is yeah, I'm going to talk about the routes because I didn't talk about the routes actually. So you can see here there is a file called routes, and Rails is also how to say that it's not resources framework, but like we I don't know what's the name for that when you're using resources. Uh, so I forgot the name, but there is a name for it, and basically, you when for example you create. Oh, this is a REST. This is what I was talking about. It's also a RESTful framework. So using the REST architecture, or REST is not REST. It's not an architecture. It's like it's not a format, but it's like I forgot the name. But using REST, basically, you using the framework, you will be able to identify your resources. And when I talk about resources, I'm talking about, for example, a task is a resources. So you will be able to say in the URL, for example, I want to identify a particular resources with his ID. For example, in the URL you will have, I'm going to show you actually later, but okay, so there is that, and then just updating blah blah because, oops, okay, oh yeah, there is that. So you will be sorry. You will be able to identify a particular task. For example, when you will click on the button to show a task, you will see in the URL task slash number one, which will be the way to identify the resources. When you actually want to delete resources, you will do the same, and the same for updating and for creating actually a resource. You will not probably have an ID. You will not have an ID for creating resources, but when it will be created, it will create the ID, which will allow you to um, identify it. So I'm going to migrate the database, the schema of the database, for saying, okay, now I have a model called task, and this is how the schema is going to be. So now I can run actually the server, and you will see what I was talking about. So I'm refreshing, so it's good. And for example, if I go to task, so this is a way you sort of locate all your task, which is a way of locating your resources called task. Hopefully it will show some stuff. The thing is, I will not have any task, I think, because I haven't created any. I don't know why it's taking so much time though. Okay, so here we go. So if I click on that button, you can see that I can create a task, do this, for example, like I was saying in the first video, create contract for a particular client, let's say GitHub, I don't know. It's not completed. I'm going to say this is related to contract creation, for example, contract creation, and I create task. So now you can see that it's showing me the task has been created, and I can go back and I have the task created here. So what I was saying is that look at the URL here. So here we are in the index of all the tasks or actions. So you have a show button here. When you click on it, you will see the URL will change, and this is how basically you identify your resources by using REST. I don't know how to call it, the REST architecture. So if you look at that, I probably should have REST. Yeah, it's actually REST architecture. There is no English one, I guess. So REST is actually representational state transfer, is a software architecture style that defines a set of constraints to be used for creating web services. Web services that conform to the REST architecture's style called RESTful services provide interoperability between computer systems on the internet. RESTful web services allow requesting system to access and manipulate textual representation of the web resources by using a uniform and predefined set of stateless operation. Other kind of web services such as SOAP web services expose their own arbitrary set of operation. So I guess I'm not really like, I don't know how to explain. I'm not really like an expert on that. But basically I think before, like maybe if you took a website, maybe Google is not the right example. I don't know if it's restful or not. But here, well, I'm not even sure. And I'm not going to talk about it because I have to actually document myself on it before explain it to you. Okay, guys. So you could see that that with scaffolding feature, you can actually you can create a web app working quite easily, and it's working without even, I mean, the video is long because I'm talking and explaining, but you can do that in like probably 15 minutes. And that obviously is ugly, so I'm gonna shave it up a little bit and show you how to do that. Yeah, and that will be it for the video. I am thinking about how, I'm thinking about how to explain this route thing here. But basically I was saying that when you click on the button, the route, if you look at the controller, for example, so I'm gonna get into it. So there is on a controller there is a default action, which is the CRUD actions, right? So you have the index, you have the show, you have the new, edit, create, delete, and put, right? So this is for CRUD, for create, read, and create, read, update, and delete. So here we are in the index action because it's showing all the tasks. So when I'm gonna click on that button back, you can see that it's saying, okay, get back to that particular URL. And that URL is defined by Rails itself. Like if you look at, for example, you do that, you go into the project you are working on. So I'm trying to go fast here, but okay, so you do rake routes. You will see a bunch of routes which has been defined. And those routes has been, this particular route I want to talk about has been defined. Oh, why is that a lot? Okay. Okay. So let's talk only about that. So you can see that there is an index, and you can see that the URL is, or URI is actually the same as the one we were referring to here. It's actually the same. So when you will click on that, the controller is going to say, okay, I want to go back into, those routes, because they are being defined by that line. You will know that the controller will know that I have to go into that particular action and show all the tasks. And if you go into the show, it's gonna go into the show method here, and it's gonna show the only task that we have. And that's pretty much the same for all the other actions. I don't want to dig into it deeply because I don't know first how to explain it the best way I can, and I'm probably not knowledgeable enough to explain it as well. So I'm gonna stop here, and hopefully in the next video, or at some point when I will move forward, I will explain, I will go back to all of that. Thank you guys for watching the video, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.